Sir, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in the matter pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you can have a seat. Sir, I'm going to ask you to state your name and spell it for our court reporter, please.
David, D-A-V-I-D, Freeman, F-R-E-E-M-A-N.
Sir, I'm going to ask you, back in 2001, how were you employed?
I was a firefighter at Athens, Clark County.
Okay. Can you tell the jury, please, just a little bit about your firefighting career with the Athens Clark County Fire Department?
I was generally assigned firefighting or driving the truck. I did both. When I say firefighting, I mean actually pulling the hose off and, fighting fire.
Okay. How long did you do that, sir?
26 years.
Was there a primary station that you worked out of in those 26 years?
I worked in all of them at one time or another. I worked at all. We had 6, then we had 7, then we had, I think they got 8 now, but I worked at all of them at one time or another.
Do you recall where you were working in January of 2001? Which station?
Station 5.
Which one is that?
Whit Davis at Whit Davis Road.
Mr. Freeman, do you recall being dispatched with other Athens Clark County Athens Clark County firefighters to a call at 160 Fawn Drive?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Is that address in Athens Clark County?
Yes, sir, it is.
Do you recall approximately what time of day that call came out?
Generally, we clean up the station in the morning, check the truck, do household stuff, and it was before lunch. I can't tell you exactly what time.
Okay. Mr. Freeman, if you could please describe what you observed as you approached 160 Fawn Drive.
The call came in, I believe, as a structure fire. Me and another firefighter were on the back of the truck, which means we actually have the nozzle. We pull up to the front of the house or front of the apartment, and you could see the left side of the apartment. It had broken through. You could see flames. So as a firefighter, you're taught to go in the front and push the fire outside. So I had the nozzle. We went to the front door. I was putting my mask on, and I reached up and tried the door, and it was locked. And I believe the lieutenant on the truck is who actually kicked the door in. When he kicked the door in, I mean, it was almost like a training fire. You could see smoke had come down about head high, and we're taught to crawl, but that day the smoke wasn't all the way down, so I could see a glow in the right side of the back of the room, which...
I'm going to stop you right there. So just to clarify a little bit, did you go in the front door of the house?
Yes, sir, we did.
Okay. And as you enter the front door, where in the house are you situated, if that makes sense?
When I go in the front door?
Yes, sir. Like just kind of generally
The best I can remember, because when we pulled up in the truck, you could see the fire in the left back of the house, and you could see the flames shooting through. So I had in my mind that when we went in, I was going to go to the left. Well, when we kicked the door in, you could see in the right back of the room, you could see red glowing.
Okay. And what did you do when you saw that red glowing?
We actually went to that area, which turned out to be the kitchen, which turned out to be all the eyes on the stove were on.
When you say eyes, what exactly do you mean?
The old coral type electric stoves.
Okay.
They were all on and glowing red.
Did you notice anything about the knobs to the stove?
Did not have knobs on the stove.
Where were the knobs?
I can't. They were either on the counter I don't think they were on the stove, but I think they were on the counter. They were taken off.
Okay. Did you yourself turn the stove off?
I believe I did. Yes, sir. I had to. I mean, I don't know if they were in the right place, but I put the knobs back on there and turned the stove off, and then. Well, you go ahead.
Okay. What'd you do after you turned the stove off?
Lieutenant was over. He was walking across the room back towards what now we know is the bedroom, but he told me, said, open the back door to let some of the smoke out. So I had on my gloves, so I reached up to open the door, and it was locked. So it was pretty warm in there, so I took my glove off, and I opened the door. I believe it had a deadbolt and then a regular lock. So I opened the door, and at that point, the lieutenant said, come over here. So I had the nozzle.
Okay. You had the nozzle, and he said, come over here. Where did you go?
I went from the stove kitchen area across what was the living room to what we now know was her bedroom, and that door was closed also.
What happened next?
We tried to open the door, and it was locked. So the other firefighter that was with me, I think Doug actually kicked that door too. And, you know, I said, when he kicks the door, it's going to roll out, because I knew it was what we call rolling. It was.
When you say it's going to roll out, what are your...
The fire. The fire's going to roll out, because when we rolled up, we could see it burning through the roof. So I knew it was pretty intense. So when he kicked the door, I opened the nozzle, what we call Z'd it. I Z'd it down, knocked the fire down, and then they said I hit it one more time just to kind of cool it down, and I had put my hand. We were just sitting there kind of watching it, make sure it didn't flare back up or flame up or whatever. And I always kept a big rubber band on my fire helmet, and I had a light stuck, up there in it. And I had my hand down on the floor, just kind of sitting there watching to see if it, I mean, smoke had banked all the way down in this room. And then I turned the light. When I turned my head, I looked down and I saw her at the foot of the bed. And
can you describe in detail what you saw?
There was a nude lady laying there. Almost looked like, I mean, you could tell she'd been in extreme heat. And she was also like a mummy, like she didn't look real. Her hair looked like her hair was intact, but it was.
So I know you said that she was on the floor. Do you recall how she was positioned?
She was positioned with her feet towards the door. Best I remember, we go in the door, the bed was to the left, and then she was at the foot of the bed, and then looked like the flames or the fire was on the bed.
Do you recall how her body was oriented, up, down, otherwise?
She was face up.
Upon discovering the body, what did you do next, sir?
Like I said, we were trained just to make sure it doesn't flame back up or anything. And so Steve and I were still in the room, on the floor. And the lieutenant, which was Doug, he was standing at the door behind us. And he said, y'all don't touch anything, just make sure it doesn't flame back up and back out. So That's basically what we did. We got it cooled down, and then we backed out.
And after backing out, did you, and when you say Doug, is that Doug Whitehead?
Yes, sir. He was a lieutenant on the seat that day. He was a supervisor, you might say.
And you mentioned Steve. Is that Steve?
Steve, yes, sir. He was a firefighter also. He and I were on the back of the truck. We had a driver of the truck. We had Doug was a supervisor, lieutenant, and then we had two firefighters, Steve Shellnut and myself, were on the back of the truck.
And after y'all backed out of the room, did you turn the scene over to the police?
Yeah, we called, I guess they called the chief and the assistant chief anyway. The shift commander was already there. So I guess they notified police, and, you know, it just kind of become chaos at that as everybody started showing up. And they wouldn't let us go anywhere. We had to stay there.
At any point, did you take notice of a screen to the back window in the house?
Yes, sir. When we got it cooled down, and I guess I was in shock. I just went to the back door because I had two small daughters. I went to the back door kind of trying to collect my thoughts and whatever, and there was a window to the left side of the door, and the screen, I can't say if it was laying in the yard or if it was leaned up against the house, but the screen had been tampered with. You could tell where it, like if you take a screwdriver and try to pop it out, you can tell where it had been bent. It had been tampered with.
Hang on just a moment, Your Honor. Mr. Freeman, those are all the questions I have for you. I have some questions.
Cross-examination, Mr. Cruz.
Yes, ma'am. May I move the podium, please?
Of course.
Good afternoon, Firefighter Freeman. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the back door to the home. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this point. When you opened the door, did you have to unlock the deadbolt and the bottom portion of the door?
With no glove on. Yes, sir.
Would it be fair to say that based on your examination of the home, the doors were locked and there was no evidence of forced entry?
That would be correct. No forced entry to the doors. Now, like I said, the screen on the window, it looked like it had been tampered with, but but no, there was no forced entry to the doors. No, sir.
Sure. Do you recall completing a interview with Firefighter report from January 19th, 2001?
The report that I had to write?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree, and if you don't know, you can say you don't know and I can show you. Would you agree that you were asked a question 29 in that report, were the doors locked when the first units arrived? Do you remember that question?
I really don't even remember the report you were referring to. I had to write a handwritten statement of what happened that day. Usually the supervisors make out the fire report.
Yes, sir. I am going to show you what I am marking as Defense Exhibit 1. Yes, sir. Thank you. Is it okay if I approach you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Were the doors locked when the first unit arrived? Yes, they were. Was any force of entry? I put no.
Yes, sir. You mentioned the window. I know that it's been 25 years since you responded to this scene. Do you recall what that window looked like at the time that you saw it?
It was a, could have been like a white, seemed like it was a white aluminum frame or vinyl window. It was 2 panes, top and bottom. Like I said, it was to the left of the back door.
Would you recognize that window if you saw it again?
Possibly.
I would like to show you what's being marked as Defense Exhibit 2 and Defense Exhibit 3. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, sir.
And to make sure I have this correct, this window was to the, if I'm facing the back door, it would be to the right. Is that correct?
Left.
If I'm facing, well, let me,
If you're coming in the front door,
okay, it's to the left. Is that right?
the window is to the left of the door that's on the right.
Excellent. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 2 and 3. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that image?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the window as you viewed it on the day you responded to 160 Fawn Drive?
Is this the way I found it? Is that what you're asking? I mean, it was just.
Correct. Well, do you recognize?
I can't honestly say. I remember, as you can look at this and tell, it looks like it's been tampered with or whatever, but I can't honestly say that the screen was outside, was not on the window. I mean, over 26 years, I had numerous calls, and I can't 100% say that screen was off. I'm pretty sure it was, but I can't sit here and say. I know it was tampered with because I remember seeing this.
Yes, sir. Did you make any notations in the report I provided you? I believe that was Defense Exhibit 1, if I'm not mistaken, about the window screen.
No, sir.
Okay. Would you have any reason to say that those images have been altered in any way?
No, sir.
Okay. I'd like to show you Defense Exhibit 4. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize Defense Exhibit 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You recognize Defense Exhibit 4 as the screen at 160 Fawn Drive, well, the screen in the window at 160 Fawn Drive. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate? Defense Exhibit 2 through 4, are those fair and accurate descriptions of?
Yes, that's looking at this is where I got the idea that it had been tampered with.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I would move to admit Defense Exhibit 2 through 4 into evidence.
Any objection? They are admitted.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
May I publish that into the jury?
May.
I want to thank you so much for your heroism. Those are my questions.
Any redirect by the state? May this witness be excused. Any objection?
No, ma'am.
You are free to go, sir.